Ollie's at the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? We've got Sanchez, Paul Pogba and Fred. Marcus Rashford, he's Mank born and bred. How's it going, everyone? Come on, get in there, my son. The news has just broken that Manchester United have announced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the permanent manager of Manchester United. Oh, yes! Praise the Lord! Hallelujah! Finally! We have seen sense and we have made him the permanent manager. I was a little bit worried. There were a couple of melters talking about United maybe going, we should go and appoint somebody else as manager, shouldn't we, at the end of the season, based on a couple of bad results under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. To those people I say, hang your heads in shame. The man came in, the man proved in such a short space that him and the current coaching staff are the right people for the job. Turned the club around, they understand the club, they've got us playing decent football again, by and large. Okay, we've had a couple of bad results recently. It happens, that's football, but if you look at what he's done since he's come in, to the point now, it's an incredible turnaround. We would have snapped anybody's hands off who offered us the results that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer offered us over that period of time. So I just think that it's a no-brainer for us. It's absolutely the right decision for the club because he's proven that he can manage United. The coaching staff, Mike Phelan, Carrick, you know, the lads behind the scenes. That's the thing. We've got just an excellent staff there now. We used to have the Portuguese Goblin and his band of merry melters behind the scenes running things. But no, we've got people that know the club, that love the club, that have represented United before. Now behind the scenes, and they're the ones that are coaching the players. They're the ones that are getting the best out of the side. And I think that, you know, it's just definitely the way forward for Manchester United. So well done, potato head upstairs, Woodward, or whoever's made the decision to finally do it. Screw Pochettino. You know, Zidane's obviously gone back to Madrid anyway. Screw him too. Didn't want those melters anyway. Based on the start that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's had, how he handles the club, I just think he's 100% the correct appointment. I mean, you're not going to get anybody who is, you know, revered by Manchester United fans as much as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to come in. We all love him from what he did as a player, but also just the way he carries himself in the media is fantastic for this football club. You know, it's not Jose Mourinho, it's not brash, it's not controversial. What he is professional. You know, he's composed, he's calm. And that's the sort of man I'd like to see in charge of this football club. I think that he's done just an unbelievable job, one that we all thought we wouldn't be able to you know, possibly make the start that we had with any new manager coming in. So the fact that it was him, you know, a relative unknown when it comes to managing. I know he's had a spell at Cardiff City, wasn't that successful, and did one at Molde over in Norway. So just the fact that nobody could have expected the impact he would have on Manchester United as a manager coming in. He was the super sub on the pitch for us every single time, but he truly is the super sub for all seasons and all roles, because he is now the super sub at Manchester United for managers. So he's come in there, saved our season. You know, we're still not out of it yet. We've still got to get to the to top four, of course, and we are still in the Champions League. But imagine if we just somehow got past Barcelona and we somehow got to the final of that Champions League and he somehow registered himself to come on in the 90th minute. I would feel very confident going into that game. And that's the thing. With Ole at the club, he's brought that belief back. Suddenly, us United fans, we do feel that maybe, just maybe, we could get one over on Barcelona. Just maybe. It's unlikely. The PSG game was the same, but we did it. We came back. We showed that spirit. We showed that belief. We showed that whole United character that is so famous throughout history. And that is the main thing that Ole Gunnar has brought back to this side. It's that belief. It's that tradition at the club to represent the shirt in a certain way. And he's managed to get the best out of the players in the time that he's had them. I can't fault the way that he's man-managed. I think if you look at what he's got out of the players, by and large, I know people like Sanchez are still having a shitter, and you know, but by and large, everyone stepped the game up. You know, the likes of Rashford's been incredible since Ole Gunnar's come in, had a real step up in form. Everybody looked better instantly, in fact. You know, people like Matic, who was absolutely atrocious under Jose Mourinho for a long time, was suddenly pretty damn good under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And there's lots of other people too. There's lots of other players that have just had a positive upturn in form, likes of Lukaku. So I think you can't fault the impact he's had on the players. It's absolutely incredible. Everybody tuning in here right now, thanks so much for stopping by on the channel. How are we all today? The news is broken. It was a given anyway. We all knew this was going to happen. Well, I guess we didn't all know that, because we do know that our board are capable of making a couple of bad decisions here and there. And I think there was a couple of people worried that at the end of the season we might just let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer go, or maybe they were waiting to see how it would pan out the rest of the season. Yeah, we had this great start, but if it comes to the end of the season and we've gone on a losing streak and we're outside the top four, or we're no further in the Champions League, just maybe they'd have thought about bringing somebody else in. But I'm glad they've seen sense, because what's the worst that can happen now? Excuse me. They could have either gone, got somebody else in the summer. Maybe it would work out, maybe it wouldn't. It's a very difficult club to come in and manage and turn around and just be able to slot in there, and you've got to perform straight away. Imagine a new manager comes in, gets a loss on his first game. It's a nightmare situation, just the pressure that is instantly on you. So there's no gamble here, really, in my opinion. You've already got somebody who's shown from his performances out there as manager over an extended period of time now that he's capable of doing the job. His selections are great. I think his man management, his in-game management's excellent. It's just the way that he organises the players and some of the substitutions he makes. Nobody's perfect, but I've seen enough from him. But I just think if we can get him a decent war chest this summer and sign some quality players, allow him to do his work, then we will be able to do something better next season. Like if we had somebody else coming in the summer and they had a bad start to the season, it could have gone really, really terrible. Whereas now we've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's the permanent manager, there's no real pressure. What's the worst thing that happens? We start the season, we have an absolute mare next year. He's already done enough this season, in my opinion, to definitely deserve the job, even if we do peter off and don't get top four and we don't get any further in the Champions League. Just the fact that we're there playing Barcelona after the draw that we had is enough from me for him to get the role. And next season, he if it goes wrong for him, if it goes badly, then what's the worst that can happen? He gets sacked, whatever. We move him on if Manchester United are 14th at Christmas or whatever, But I don't think we should do that either. I think, and that's not going to happen, because look at this man. Look at what this man has done in a short space of time. He sorted this band of melters out. We had players like Pogba, who were completely useless, not looking like the player that we all thought they were. Loads of players like that. He turned us around. He's made us the team that we were back in the days of old, and we just look so much better for it. So he's completely deserved the job. Anybody that says otherwise, you want your heads testing. Honestly, he's definitely earned the opportunity now. Fair enough, it might go wrong next season. Who knows? It could just be one of those miracle situations where he's coming, a la Roberto Di Matteo at Chelsea, where it just goes right, everything clicks. For the time that he's there, and then maybe it just won't happen again in the future. That's a possibility, but I doubt it. I think that we've got the right man for the job. There's no better candidate out there at the moment, and plus, you can't go wrong by appointing him as the manager, because, like I say, if it goes wrong next season, then that's the game. You might have to try somebody else, but he's shown in the time that he's been here that he's capable of getting the best out of this United title. Oh, absolutely buzzing, lads and lasses. Feeling a little bit I wouldn't say shocked, because I knew this was going to happen, but it's an interesting time to do it. I don't know why they didn't do it earlier, because obviously we all knew it should be the case, and I don't understand why they waited until now to do it, but I'm glad they have done it. It's a slow news day, so it's good that they've done it. It's good that they've given us fans a positive boost. Really happy about the appointment. I'm sure you guys are too. Let's see what you guys think about it, actually. Get your comments and opinions in the comment section here, live on YouTube, and I'll see what the general consensus is. Richard James, hi Piggy, how's it going? Odin Midgard says, damn son. Odin says, Ollie's at the wheel. Obi-Wan, how's it going? Everybody seems positive so far. Gungshi in the house with a super chat. How you doing there, Gungshi? Nice to see you, mate. He says, oh yes, my son, get in there. The board made the right choice this time. Let's hope they support Ollie in the transfer market. Great day for United supporters. Thank you so much for stopping by with that epic super chat there, Gungshi. Nice to see you, mate. I'm recovering from a bit of an illness at the moment, so I'm not feeling great. Don't look great. Got sore lip and all sorts. Dodgy eyes. Proper messed up. But thank you so much for stopping by and cheering me up here, mate. This has also cheered me up anyway, this whole appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's tremendous news. I'm completely with you. I think the board have finally made the right choice and seen sense. And it was an absolute no-brainer. Why would you go out there and risk somebody else coming in as manager in the summer, even if the rest of the season doesn't really go to plan? That's a huge risk. Who are we going to get in the summer other than him? So I think the board's made the right decision. Give it to Ollie. let him see what he can do next season. But one thing I would say, and I would highlight, is that we don't want a David Moyes situation. And what I mean by that is when David Moyes came in, they didn't really let him spend any money. I mean, we bought Marouane Fellaini for 27 mil or whatever it was, over the odds at the time. But they didn't really give him much else, at least I think until January, when we got Mata, if I'm correct in thinking that. I don't want to see that. I would like to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer given a lot of faith, given the money in the transfer window this summer, to be able to strengthen the side accordingly, because there are certain positions that we're lacking. I think we definitely could go out there and do with signing a really truly world-class winger and another centre-back, just to shore things up, make things better, make that starting 11 better, make that squad depth better, because we're going to have to compete on all fronts next year. We've got other teams, of course, in the Premier League that are currently better than us that we've got to do a little bit of catch-up on. So we are going to have to invest in the summer. I don't want to see us spending a little bit in the summer. I do want to see us spending a lot. Not any more than is necessary, but just enough for us to go out there and make a real impact and allow Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to have a mark on this team. What I mean by that is allow him to have his influence and his input on the team. Obviously, he's got the players here now. He's dealing with players that have been brought in by the last couple of managers. He's not dealing with players that he's obviously handpicked and nurtured and brought up, by and large. I mean, there's a couple of people he knows, obviously, but yeah. So what we would like to see is him given full faith to be able to go out there, make an impact in the transfer window, strengthen the side to how he wants them to play. Because that's another thing. Like, his vision as a manager may be slightly different to previous managers, or even Fergie or whoever. So you've got to allow him to go out there and get the type of technical players that he wants for the roles that he's got them, earmarked for. So, yeah, thank you so much for your super chat there, Gungshi. You're an absolute legend. Hope you're doing well. You're obviously buzzing about it. Great day for United supporters, as you say. It truly is. What a day for United supporters. Gungshi, all hail the baby-faced assassin. Alex Rincon in the house with a super chat. How you doing, Alex? Nice to see you. He comes and says, Ollie's at the wheel now. Let's make some signings. Absolutely buzzing. Thank you for your super chat there. Yeah, I mean, that's the key, really. We do need to strengthen in the summer. We've seen in the last couple of games, we are lacking in certain positions, even defensively. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had a massive impact on the defence of Manchester United since he's come in. He's improved every aspect of the team. We've been great attacking-wise, but he's actually improved us defensively, which is one sort of thing I wasn't really expecting to happen overnight. But he did do that. I think it's come from alleviating some of the pressure that we allowed onto ourselves by being a more attacking force. Best form of defence is offence, as that old American Yank saying. And I believe it is true. In certain situations, of course, not all the time, but certainly when your back's to the wall, that's what we should be doing. Not the old Jose Mourinho whimper job, where you just allow pressure onto you in the hope to nick a goal. No, he has changed the mentality, and of course he's going to have a certain way that he wants to play with his team. He's going to have to make signings that will complement the way he wants to play. But yeah, I mean, the defence, like I said, he's got a defence that are performing. He's performed well with the defence. We've got errors in there. Players like Phil Jones, Smalling, there's question marks over them. I know Chris Smalling, those guys, they've been actually really good since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, but they still are capable of making errors. They still do make errors, not necessarily big game players, maybe more like squad players. So, yeah, I think it's, it's important that we do strengthen those positions, strengthen the defence, strengthen somebody out there in a wide position as well, get a really, truly world-class player in. I was talking about Perisic for the last couple of seasons. I'm just spitballing here. But yeah, I agree. We do need to make signings. We absolutely do. We need to improve certain positions. We should have a defence that can rival the likes of City, which we don't at the moment on paper anyway. We don't have the depth. We don't have the quality generally there. We should have an offence which can challenge the likes of City and Liverpool, which I think that we do. We do currently have that. We have got great players like Rashford, who've got bags of potential. Martial, Lukaku's still a big player in the Premier League. And so attacking-wise is not really the problem. It's about strengthening other areas of the team. Richard James will batter Barcelona, no worries. Well, I'm loving your optimism. Barcelona, they are a tricky side, aren't they? They're a bit of a bogey team for us as well. I know there's that whole Scholesy goal and everything, but other than that, my memories of Manchester United playing Barcelona in recent times definitely are not fantastic. They are a great team. Maybe they're not quite as great as the days of Pep Guardiola, Xavi and Iniesta. It's a very special generation, one of the best teams, if not the best, to ever exist in football, really. And they're not quite to that, but they still got an incredible squad. They still got incredible talents, and they still got Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is basically the best player in the world. I mean, my personal opinion, I love Ronaldo. That's just me. I love the physicality of the man. I love that if you put him into Kettering Town, he'd go out there and score a hat-trick. Whereas I'm not so sure about Messi, but he is actually out of this world insane. What I would liken it to is he is like the Roger Federer of tennis, no, of football. And Ronaldo is like the Rafael Nadal. More physical, maybe not as natural, but just sheer hard work, determination, and bottle. That is basically Ronaldo. Whereas Messi is more like Roger Federer. He's more like this elegant, natural talent. And that is just something we've got to always worry about. He's such an incredible player. I know we've got Chris Smalling at the back there, who's going to have him in his pocket. But still, Barcelona, very tough team. I'm feeling confident going into that. It's basically a no-lose situation for me now because I didn't really expect us to get there anyway. Didn't really expect us to get through that second leg against PSG. So the fact that we have done, and the fact that we are playing Barcelona, it's a dream tie for us now. It really is. It'd be nice to go on and progress in the tournament. But just getting that tie, just showing our stuff against Barcelona right now, just seeing where we are right now against one of the best teams in Europe in Barcelona will be absolutely incredible to see. So I'm just really looking forward to the games. Benedict Turfashishi comments and says, Solskjaer needs now to be backed up to the hilt in the transfer market. I totally agree. Definitely we need investment, need some money spent. A lot of people are saying the same things on this chat, and I 100% agree with all of you. Gungshi says, the hen must be relieved that Spurs can keep Poch. That's very true, but will they actually keep Poch? Or will he go somewhere else? They probably will keep Poch now that Zidane's gone over there to Madrid. And, you know, that was it. It's like if we did make a change in the summer and get a different manager in, it was going to have this knock-on effect throughout the European leagues where people are going to have to change teams all over the place. So now they don't have to do that. So I'm sure you're right. I'm sure he is very happy about that. And Pochettino is a good manager. He's done a lot over at Spurs, to be fair. They're a much better outfit than they were just a few years ago. So I think he's done an incredible job. He showed what he's capable of doing in the Premier League with two different sides now, improved both of them significantly in the time that he had them. Maybe he can go on and be successful and get some silverware, but that is the big question mark hanging over him. Can he win anything? The lad's got no silverware with Spurs, you know, so... Emir97 comments and says, bringing Manchester United to become the Champions League is up to his hand. Keep up the good work, Ollie. I think I understand what you're saying there, Emir. It is up to him. You're absolutely right. It's down to the reason we progressed into the Champions League next round after getting through, PSG. It's basically because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the impact that he had at the club, the way that he turned Manchester United around after the terrible state that we were in under Jose, the way that he came in and instantly improved us, instantly got us playing the United way again. You know, that nice, quick, attacking, direct type of football, much more direct anyway, and much more attacking. Where it's not like we are the best United side there's ever been, but certainly a massive improvement, getting back to the fundamentals of Manchester United, getting back to that whole philosophy that people talk about, which is to entertain, which is to try and attack, which is to try and outdo the opposition. We weren't doing that under Jose, but he came in and instantly changed us around. So he does deserve a heck of a lot of credit for that. And the fact that we are into the next round of the Champions League, that's only down to the impact that he had and the form that we showed and the boosts in confidence every player had in that period of time up to that PSG game. So I'm completely with you. Zabo Dino comments and says, Joel, that would be the Portuguese Mr. Bean's fault. Hope it's not the case. I think I've missed a comment now. Oh, Joel says, what if Ollie doesn't make the top four? Yes, well said. Thank you for your comments there, Joel and Zaba. I agree with Zaba. It wouldn't be Ollie's fault. Look at the league table since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. Like, just look at the Ollie League, okay? The Solskjaer League since he came in up until now. That's all you can judge him on. You can't judge him on what's gone before. You can't judge him on United's performances under Jose Mourinho. No, you have to judge him since he's come in. And if you judge him since he's come in, then we're top of the league, baby. He has us top of the league in the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer League, which is the only league that counts. Okay? Forget the Premier League this year. It doesn't matter. It's now about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer League, which we're currently top of. But anyway, yeah. So I think that he's done as good a job as he could have done in the Premier League. Absolutely. And in the Champions League. Incredible. Nobody else could have done it. We've had an incredible turnaround. We are right back up there challenging now for top 4. If we do get top 4, it's an insane turnaround. If we don't get top 4, that's not the end of the world, really. Well, it's terrible we wouldn't have Champions League football next year, but I mean, it's not the end of the world for Ole, because like Zaba said, it is not his fault. He's had to clean up after all this mess, basically. You know, and he has saved a true disaster here. I can't play down how much of an awful team we were before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. Jose had absolutely let the rot set in, man. He was the captain on the Titanic, waiting for that ship to go down. But no, last minute, what happens? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes in on his huge inflatable and saves everybody. And just shunts off Jose on a little iceberg. Stipmeister, how's it going? Comments and says, hi Pig, Ole at the wheel, what a day. It'll be very important to keep on winning in the league after the international break. Absolutely, 100%, totally agree. That's where it needs to happen now, really. Champions League, yeah, it'd be nice to beat Barca. Don't really care about that now. The focus needs to be on the Premier League. The focus needs to be getting top 4. That's the main thing. If we could get top 4 next season, have Champions League football next year, allow the transfer window, allow the improvements to happen over time, then I think we can be right back up there next year. Ian Turlington comments, I hope United fans are prepared to give Ole at least 3 years to develop a title-winning team, bringing through youth and signing young players. I hear you, man, and I'd love to see that. But at the same time, football is such a cruel game in this day and age. It really is. And the fact is, as much as I hate to say it, let's say we finish the season well this year. Let's just say we get to the semis of the Champions League or the final of the Champions League, and let's say that we get top 4. So he's had an incredible season. In my opinion, deserves a full season in charge next year to at least see what he can do and see how far he can bring this club on. But the fact is, as much as I agree with your comment there, Ian, I think that if he has a bad start, if it does go wrong, if the football's not being played well out there on the pitch, which I'm hoping it's not going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen, but if we did have a terrible start to the season, come Christmas time, if we're 8th in the Premier League, there will be a lot of people asking why. There'll be a lot of people unhappy with the start of football, and that's just the way it would go. It's just like the Jose Mourinho situation. It's a results industry at the end of the day. If you're not getting the results, unfortunately, there will be heaps of pressure put on you, whoever you are. The one thing I would say is I think Ole Gunnar will get more time. He will get more patience from the fans. Certainly from me. Certainly from a lot of fans, who love Manchester United, who grew up with United, because we love him as an individual. It's not like this man we've got in charge who we think maybe is a bit of a toxic character like Jose was, a bit of a controversial character behind the scenes, messing things up, ruffling feathers, being controversial, and he's not like that at all. He's a ex-player of the club, an ex-icon of the club, Champions League final goal-scoring winner. Here we're talking about. So he will definitely get more patience from the fans, but that patience will only last so long if it's not going well. As sad as it is, football is not the sort of game today we can give somebody 3 years regardless of results. It's not like when Alex Ferguson took over at United. It's not like that at all. I think he'll get a full season. But let's just be honest now. If the football dwindles off, if we finish 10th, somebody would have to make a change, because it becomes a financial decision. It becomes are we going to be qualifying for the Champions League? Are we going to be competing for absolutely everything? It becomes a financial decision from the board down, and whether or not that's right or not, and it's not right really, you can't deny that that's probably going to happen. But I love your comment there, Ian. Thank you very much. I'd love to see him given full faith and time by the board, regardless of what happens next season. But after that, my friend, we've got to be real, and it is a results-based industry. But I think he's the man capable of doing it. Verge Rush comments and says, as a United fan, I feel we need to get right back in this summer because Valencia is leaving. I think Joan Cancelo from Juventus would be a good shout. Yeah, I've not seen much of Cancelo other than playing with him on FIFA. But he's supposed to be very good. Obviously, in the Juventus games, I've seen a few performances from him. He is obviously one of these players across Europe that people do talk about for that position. My personal opinion, though, is, okay, it would be good to go out there and sign a more experienced, ready-made player. But there's always a risk when somebody's coming into the Premier League because it is different. But I would like to see Diogo Dalot given the opportunity next year to at least go out there and try. I know he's young. I know he's got a lot to learn. Antonio Valencia has been a great servant to us. He's aging now. He will be leaving end of the season. So we do need to improve that position, and we do need to sign somebody else as well. We still got Young, of course, who can play there, and Diogo Dalot. But to me, Dalot looks like one of those players that at 20 years of age, he's got so much potential. He looks capable now as well. what I mean by that is he looks like a player you can put in there, and most of the time he's not going to make too many errors. He's going to put in good, solid performances, and he's capable of performing for us right now, which is not the case with a lot of young players because they just don't have the experience of the game. I look back to Luke Shaw when he was 18, and there was a lot of ropey performances in there, really. But now, of course, he's got that experience, he's got that game time, and he's a lot better. But in the case of Diogo Dalot, he doesn't seem to have the same vulnerabilities necessarily. Obviously he does, but he's not the same level as somebody like Luke Shaw when he first started. So I think Diogo Dalot's more of a finished product already. I think he's so young. Of course he's nowhere near the best right backs in the world. We don't even know what his best position is really because he's looked great on the wing. But certainly right back, he could be given a good opportunity next season to get a lot of games. That's what I'd do. I'd maybe sign somebody else, another young lad who could potentially go on and be a star in the future. But I'd give him the sort of main starting berth in the side and see what he can do. Okay, you'll know in quite a short space of time whether it's going to work out for you. But yeah, Cancedo, good player. Steve Armar, hello from Iceland. Absolutely brilliant news on a snowy morning. Happy days, big. Happy days to you. It's not very nice weather here. It's not snowing at the moment. I'd take a bit of snow over this shite, though, to be honest with you, mate. But thank you so much for stopping by. Sea Balloon Casper comments, I should be the Manchester United manager. Yeah, good one. Stip comments, I'd love seeing more academy players like McTominay in our first squad. But this will take time. McTominay's going to have Messi in his back pocket. You know Solskjaer selected him. No, we'll see. I'm with you. I would like to see more youth players brought through. We've seen a couple come through over the last couple of seasons. The likes of Rashford spring to mind. But yes, McTominay, other players, there used to be a lot more youth coming through into Manchester United's first team. I don't really know what's happened there. I think maybe we used to have such a fantastic youth setup. That it was a little bit more advanced than a lot of the other sides in the Premier League. But now the likes of City and Chelsea and Arsenal and all these guys all up in their game, Southampton's academy, all these people, it's much more difficult for us to get the top young players than bring them through. And not only that, these players do not get the game time in order to improve significantly because it comes down to we're paying Sanchez 350, 80, 500k a week, whatever it is. He's got a name. We're paying him that money, so he's got to play. Rather than, he's actually been shit for days, so let's try somebody else young, give them an opportunity. It doesn't happen so much anymore, whereas it used to happen a lot more. It wasn't necessarily a financial decision. Now it's a financial decision. It's sickening, man. It really is, and it's such a shame because you've got all these prima donnas out there who are paid so much, and they are great players. They are experienced players. I'm not just talking about United here. I'm talking about throughout the entire Premier League here. And the young players, the young English players that are coming through in England, it doesn't have to be English, but I'm just saying the young English players that actually born here and come through the academies, they don't get a look in, really. They really don't get a look in. I mean, you've got to just look at Jadon Sancho, okay, at City, right? Great young player, doesn't get the game time, has to go abroad, shows what a great player is. Let's look at, Scott Sinclair, right? What the hell, man? Looked great when he was younger. He'd gone, just didn't get the game time at a big club in England. Just pissing it away now in the Scottish Premier League, So, yeah, I think there's a lot of issues with not just ourselves, but bringing youth through. Historically, United have been one of the best clubs doing that. Class of 92 says it all, really, bringing players through. That's what we've always done. But not so much lately. I'd like to see it happening a lot more. We should be capable of producing talents like Rashford. We should be capable of producing, talents like Scholes and Becks and Giggs and all these lads as well. Absolutely. Getting them young, bringing them up, and making them top quality players. Putting them into the side. We don't see that anymore because there's so much that hinges on results and performances. People can't blood the youth as much as they should be able to. I think it's wrong. In my opinion, what they should do is make you field 6 English players or 5 English players. If they made you field 6 English players in the Premier League and you're allowed 5 anomalies out there from any nation, that would mean that there's a lot more youth players given opportunities. It would have to be, there'd be a knockoff, maybe players would leave the country, maybe we'd lose a few fans around the world. But our national team would benefit from it, and not only that, I think a lot of the sides would also benefit from it because, you are bringing through youth players. It does become an actually who's better at managing this band of players scenario, rather than being who can spend the most money. So yeah, football's gone to shit, lads. It really has. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up there, lads and lasses. Just a final super chat here from Gungshi. What are you doing, pal? He's already sent 1,000 Taiwanese dollars over. Just, he must be in a really good mood, as I'm sure you all are. Thank you, Gungshi. Cheers, man. He's commented and said, we have the makings of a great squad, but we lack depth. A mixture of promoting our youth and getting some strong new signings in is the way to go. Mr. Potato Head must support Ollie in the summer. 100%, that Potato Woodward needs to put his hand in the pocket in the summer. Like you say, we don't have the depth in the squad. If you look at the likes of City, the likes of Liverpool, they outdo us in terms of depth. And when you're talking about specifically Liverpool, that's sickening, man. How are Liverpool outdoing us for depth? Okay, they've had a great start in the last couple of years, but just recently, with some signings and some youth players coming through, they look like they've maybe got more depth than us. City have more depth. Chelsea have more depth. Manchester United are lacking in the depth right now. Yeah, we've got great attacking talents. Our starting back line, on paper at least, is perhaps not that great. I've still got a lot of faith in Dalot. I think Luke Shaw's absolutely tremendous now. Centre-backs, I'm not so sure. Lindelof's been great recently. Smalling's been great recently. But I'm not so sure about them in the big games that they can keep it together, a consistent enough amount of time. Like we need a Vidic or we need a Rio. We need somebody who can just do that, who's very consistent and barely puts a foot wrong. That's the key at United. You have to be consistent because there's so much pressure week to week. Gungshi says, I'm happy and I want to donate, getting you some medicine booze to get you feeling better. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I've been feeling proper rough, fighting back a cold here. Don't know if you can hear my chest, but I'm absolutely wheezing at the moment. So that definitely cheered me up, Gungshi. Thanks so much for stopping by. You must be an absolute baller over there, mate. Just the fact that you're tuning in and sending anything, but you must be a baller. Right, I think I'm going to actually wrap it up there because my chest is making all sorts of horrendous noises. But I wanted to jump on here just to say what an absolutely amazing day. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the wheel. It feels amazing. He's the man for the job. Nobody else could come in and do the job that he's done in the time that we've had him. The coaching staff behind the scenes Phelan, Carrick, absolutely, they need to be involved. We need them. They deserve just as much the credit, in my opinion. They've been incredible. We've got the link between the players in the dressing room. We've got the historian, the link between the old manager in the club and the history of the club in Phelan. And now we've got the link, the old player that's the manager, the baby-faced assassin, the super sub of history, coming in to save our season once again. He's done that. He's deserved this job. Nobody deserves it more than him. Nobody could have done the job he's done in the time that he's had. And I'm just so happy that the club have finally made it permanent and announced that that is the case. At 4 o'clock today, apparently he's doing a little press conference, so tune into that. Let's see what he's got to say. Let's see what the club have got to say, how long it is, all the details, etc. It will all come out then. So make sure you tune into that a bit later on today. I'm guessing it's going to be on Sky Sports News or MUTV or some shit like that. So check it out. Everyone who's tuned into this video, thanks so much for stopping by. Gungshi, Alex Rincon for super chatting on this video. Thanks so much. You're a bunch of legends. I do appreciate it. And everybody else who's commented, if I've not responded to you, hopefully I have, but I always try to. Thanks so much. Do us a favour before you go, actually smash a like on this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as permanent Manchester United manager. Get in there, my son. Come on, lads. Ole's at the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? We've got Sanchez, Paul Pogba and Fred. Marcus Rashford, he's made born and bred.